This is Kelli Koon's video lesson for CEL 630, the practicum at Delta State University.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yesterday we started our unit on Native Americans, and we started our story on, who can tell me the name of the story that we're reading this week? Reham? The Rough-Faced Girl. Very good. Now, we started talking about different things that we knew about Indians and that we wanted to learn about Indians, or Native Americans as that they're originally called, or American Indians. Now, we had three things that we knew yesterday about what we already knew. And they were the first to live on American land, they lived in the woods, and they lived in tents. That's all you knew. That's fun. Now, your three questions were very good. How did they survive? What were their weapons? And how did they get their clothes? Those are three very good questions. Now, did we learn anything yesterday the first time that we read our story? Mary Audrey?
We did, and we learned that Indians sometimes would live on lands by a lake or ocean or a sea.
Okay. The Indians lived by the lakes. Very good. All right, what else did we learn? You know, we talked about that they lived in tents. What else did we learn, Alyssa?
That they live in around tents, and they're called wigwams.
Awesome job. The tents are called wigwams. Very good. The tents are round and are called wigwams. Very good, Lawan. Wigwams. And that is our vocabulary, one of our vocabulary words for the week. Very good. Now, did we learn anything else yesterday when we were reading The Rough-Faced Girl? Lawan?
That she burned her face and she ripped her clothes.
That she burned her face and that she ripped her clothes. All right, did we learn anything else about Native Americans yesterday? Anything else? Okay, that's fine. We've only just read this book one time. So, we're going to learn more about it. All right, today this is what we're going to do. We're going to compare and contrast the older sisters with the rough-faced girl. We don't know the older sister's name, and we don't know the rough-faced girl. But we do know that they had very different personalities, do we not?
Yes.
All right, so I want you to pay close attention as I read The Rough-Faced Girl. The Rough-Faced Girl by Rafe Martin and David Shannon. Once, long ago, there was a village by the shores of Lake Ontario. Off from the other wigwams of this village stood one great, huge wigwam. Painted on its side were pictures of the sun, moon, stars, plants, and trees. And inside this wigwam, there was said to live a very great, rich, and powerful, and supposedly handsome invisible being. However, no one could see him except his sister who lived there too. Many women wanted to marry this invisible being, but his sister, only the one who could see him, can marry him, she said. Now in this village there lived a poor man who had 3 daughters. The 2 older daughters were cruel and hard-hearted, and they made their youngest sister sit by the fire and feed the flames. When the burning branches popped, the sparks fell on her. In time, her hands became burnt and scarred. Her arms too became rough and scarred. Even her face was marked by the fire, and her beautiful long hair hung ragged and charred. And those two older sisters laughed at her, saying, "Ha! You're ugly, you rough-faced girl." Ethan, you need to be paying attention and put the crayon up, please. And they made her life very lonely and miserable, indeed. One day, those two older sisters went to their father and said, "Give us some necklaces. Give us some new buckskin dresses. Give us some pretty beaded moccasins. We're going to marry the invisible bee." Now, what do you notice about the two older sisters? What do you notice about when they go to their father? What do you notice, Kayana?
They just yell at him saying, "I won't see you."
They yell at him. Very good. So what does that tell you about their character? What does that tell you about their character? Did you hear it?
They're greedy.
They're greedy. What word that I read tells you that they are greedy? Or what words did I tell you that means that they are greedy? Rihan? What words did I read that said that made you think that they were greedy? I said two words over and over that they said. Let her think. Let her use her brain. They yelled at their father. Okay. What two words did they say, Sable? Give me. Give us. Very good. When someone is greedy, they just say, "Give me. Give me that." So, and they did. They said that to their father. Is that being respectful?
No.
No. Is that being responsible?
No.
It is not. Being respectful would be, how could they have said it any different way to change their character? Mary Audrey.
Please give me.
Please give me. Very good. All right, let's keep reading. So their father gave these things. Dressed in their finest, the two girls marched through the village. All the people pointed and stared. "Look at those beautiful girls," they said. "Surely they shall marry the invisible being." And if those two girls were proud and hard-hearted before, they were even prouder now. They laughed haughtily through the village. At last they came to the wigwam of the invisible being, and there his sister was waiting. "Why have you come?" she asked. "We want to marry the invisible being," they answered. "That's why we're here." "If you want to marry my brother," she replied, "you have had to have seen him. Tell me, have you seen the invisible being?" "Of course we've seen him," they insisted. What does insisted mean? That was one of our vocabulary words yesterday. Kayana.
It means they already know about it.
Not that they already know. Lauren.
They yelled.
Not they yelled. Alyssa.
They
They said
said
they are what?
commanding.
Not commanding. That means that they already what? That they
Already know.
already know. Very good. Now, of course we've seen him, they insisted. Can't you see how pretty we are? Can't you see the beautiful clothes we wear? Oh, yes. Anyone can tell that we've truly seen the invisible being. All right, she said quietly. If you think you've seen him, then tell me, what's his bow made of? And suddenly her voice was swift as thunder and lightning and strong. His bow? They stammered in surprise. His bow? We know. Both, but turning desperately to one another, they whispered, "What shall we say?" "Let's say it's the oak tree." So they said, "It's the great oak tree." "No," said the sister of the invisible being. "No." Oh, she saw at once that they had lied. Tell me, she continued, if you think you've seen my brother the invisible being, then what's the runner of his sled made of? We know, cried those two sisters, but whispering feverishly. Again they wondered, what shall we say? What shall we say? Let's say it's the green willow branch. No, said the sister when she heard. No, you have not seen my brother. Now go home. Just test us fairly, they exclaimed. We've seen him. Just don't ask us all these silly questions. All right, said the sister of the invisible being. Come with me. And she took them to the great wigwam and set them in their seats furthest from the entrance. The guest seats. Soon they heard footsteps coming along the path. Then something stepped inside. Though they heard breathing, the two sisters still couldn't see a thing. Suddenly a great bow and a beaded quiver of arrows appeared in the air and were set down. But those two girls sat there, their eyes wide, all through the night. They never saw a thing more. And in the morning they had to go home, ashamed. The next day, the rough-faced girl went to her father and said, Father, please, may I have some new beads? May I have a new buckskin dress and some pretty moccasins? I'm going to marry the invisible being, for wherever I look, I see his face. Now, how is the rough-faced girl different from the two older sisters? Amani? She's not being selfish. What did she do when she went to talk to her father? What did she do when she went to talk to her father, Paige? What did she do when she went to talk to her father? How did she ask him? Nicely. What else? Softly. And what important word did she say, Ethan?
Can you please?
Can you please? Very good. But her father sighed. Daughter, he said, I'm sorry. I have no beads left for you. Only some little broken shells. I have no buckskin dress, and as for moccasins, all I have are my old, worn, cracked, and stretched out pair from last year, and they're much too big. But she said, whatever you can spare, I can use. So he gave her these things. Then she found some dried reeds. Taking the little broken shells, she strung a necklace. She stripped birch bark from the dead trees and made a cape, a dress, and leggings. Then, with a sharp piece of bone, she carved in the bark pictures of the sun, moon, stars, and trees and animals. She went down to the lake shore, soaked the moccasins in water until they grew soft. Then she molded them to her feet, but they were still too big. They flapped like duck's feet as she walked. Then all the people came out of their wigwams. They pointed and stared. Look at that ugly girl, they laughed. Look at her strange clothes. Hey, go home, you ugly girl. You'll never marry the invisible being. But the rough-faced girl had faith in herself, and she had courage. She didn't turn back. She just kept walking right through the village. Little one, pay attention. As she walked on, she saw the great beauty of the earth and sky spreading before her. And truly, she alone of all of the village saw in these things the sweet yet awesome face of the invisible being. At last she came to the lake shore, just as the sun was sinking behind the hills, and the many stars came glittering out like a fiery veil in the darkening overhead. And there, standing by the water's edge, was the sister of the invisible being, waiting. Now the sister of the invisible being was a wise woman. When she looked at you, she didn't just see your face or your hair or your clothes. No, when she looked at you, she would look you right in the eyes, and she could see all the way down to your heart. And she could tell if you had a good, kind heart or a cold, hard heart. And when she looked at the rough-faced girl, she saw at once. Though her skin was scarred, her hair burnt, and her clothes strange, she had a beautiful, kind heart. And so she welcomed her dearly, saying, Ah, my sister, why have you come? And the rough-faced girl replied, I have come to marry the invisible being. glad to see. Tell me, have you seen my brother the invisible being? All right. And the rough-faced girl said, yes. All right then, said the sister. If you have seen him, tell me, what is his bow made of? And the rough-faced girl said, his bow? What's the great curve of the rainbow? Ah, exclaimed the sister in excitement. Tell me, if you've seen my brother the invisible being, what's the runner of his sled made of? And the rough-faced girl, looking into the night sky, said, the runner of his sled? Why, it's the spirit road, the Milky Way of stars that spread across the sky. Ah, cried the sister in wonder and delight. You have seen him. Come with me. And taking the rough-faced girl by hand, she led her back to the great wigwam and sat in the seat next to the entrance, the wife's seat. Then they heard footsteps coming along the path, closer and closer. The entrance of the wigwam flap lifted up, and in stepped the invisible being. And when he saw her sitting there, he said, at last we have been found out. Then, smiling kindly, he added, oh, my sister, but she is beautiful. And his sister said, yes. The sister of the invisible being then gave the rough-faced girl the finest of buckskin robes and a necklace, perfect shells. Now bathed in the lake, she said, and dressed in these. Suddenly all the scars vanished from her body, her skin grew smooth again, and her beautiful black hair grew in long and glossy as raven's wings. Now anyone could see that she was indeed beautiful, but the invisible being and his sister had seen that from the start. So what part of her did they look at her? The outside or the inside?
Inside.
The inside. What counts most in yourself? What counts most?
Heart.
Your heart. Very good. Your heart. Then at last, the rough-faced girl and the invisible being were married, and they lived together in great gladness and were never parted. How'd you like that story?
I like it.
All right, today we are going to add some more to our, not our chart, but we're going to do compare and contrast the sisters and the brothers. The sister and the rough-faced girl, excuse me. When we compare and contrast, what kind of diagram do we use? Who remembers? Who remembers what kind of diagram that we use when we compare and contrast? One. Starts with a V. Russell? Not vertical. Then what? Then diagram. Alright, so today we're going to compare and contrast the older sisters and the younger, and the rough-faced girl. What does compare mean? What does compare mean? Ethan, what does compare mean? The same. What does contrast mean?
Not the same. Not the same.
The difference. Very good. Compare and contrast. I want you to draw in your journal a compare and contrast. Then, just like Miss Koon, we're going to draw a circle. One circle. And then we're going to draw another. And we're going to overlap. Overlap means they are the same. When you overlap, the middle is the same. The outer ones are different. 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 At the top of each of yours, I want you to put the older sister on one. And the rough-faced girl in the other. good. Very good, Luan. Very good, Amani. Very good, Jakiria. Very good. Very good. Very good, Sable. At this time, they are drawing a Venn diagram, compare and contrast on their papers. I'm taping this through a iPad, so I'm trying to let you see them, but it's not really working. This is what one of them looks like. Just the Venn diagram of the rough-faced girl and her sisters. All right, you're going to have to get another pencil from somebody because remember ours are broken. The pencil sharpener broke this morning, unfortunately. All right, tell me, what is one thing that is the same about sisters and the rough-faced girl? What's one thing that is the same?
They both want to marry him.
Both want to marry who?
They
They both want to marry the invisible being. Very good. That's actually probably the only similarity that they have. They both want to marry the invisible being. They both want to marry the invisible being.
But they wanted beads. They wanted beads too.
Well, and they both went to their what?
Father.
They both went to their father and asked. I'm going to put this down here at the bottom. They both went to their father for help. All right, what are some differences? What are some differences? What are some differences, Lawan? What are some differences between the rough-faced girl?
The older sisters are cool.
The older sisters were cruel. The older sisters were cruel. All right. What else? Mary Audrey?
The older sisters were selfish.
They were selfish. Brianna, what's different about the rough-faced girl?
She was kind.
She was kind. How do you know she was kind?
Because she asked her dad and she gave him some beads and nicely.
She asked her dad nicely. What else? What do you know, Mary Audrey?
She was faithful in herself.
She was faithful. She had faith. Very good. So if you have faith, what does that mean? That you what?
You believe in yourself.
You would believe in yourself. So she believed in herself. So two that we could put was cruel, selfish, kind, and faith. Was this now? Let's see if we could add maybe two more. Rehan?
She
She married the invisible man. She married the invisible man. All right, and last one. What about the older sisters? What was different about them?
They was yelling at the father and they
Okay, they yelled.
They lied.
They lied, and what was at the end? They were what? What happened at the end after they talked to the sister? They were what?
Disappointed?
They were disappointed. They were disappointed. All right, very good. I believe you have a clear understanding of telling the differences because they're very different. Now, what story does the rough-faced girl remind you of? There's a story that the rough-faced girl reminds me of. What? Cinderella. It does. It reminds me a whole lot of Cinderella.
And David Shannon's other book.
What was that?
David Goes to School.
Maybe. David Shannon just illustrated this book. He didn't actually write it. Ralph Martin did. So, when we compare and contrast, we do the differences on one side of each, and then what they're the same in the middle, overlapping. It reminds you of Snow White. Why does it remind you of Snow White? I've never heard of that one. Let's let Dad.
Snow White had the same problem.
Same problem with who?
That green old one.
Her mother. Very good. Her mother.
Her sisters put poison in the apple.
Very good. And she put poison in the apple. Very good.
The other story with her sisters, her sisters were mean to her, and Cinderella, her sisters were mean to her, and put her, like, to do things for her
What about Mariel?
Ariel. Oh.
All right. Now,
Because she had problems.
we also, we're going to thank Claire share in just a moment about some adjectives. We learned about adjectives yesterday. Let's look at our diagram at the top. Let's look at the. I want you to look at the board.
No, but no.
Whoever that is, stop, please. Thank you. Now, adjectives are words that describe or modify a noun. They are a word that describes or modifies a noun. Now, when you've actually compared and contrasted the rough-faced girl and her sisters. You've actually done that. Now, you've actually done that. Now, we can use adjectives to describe them. We can describe how they look, how they act, how they dress, because it describes something. So, I want you to talk with your partner and tell about some adjectives that you would use to describe the older sisters. And we're going to write them on the board. The older sisters. Dallas, get up here with me. Hang on. Sorry. Alright, what are some adjectives that you can use to describe your older sisters? Alright. Are you talking? What are some adjectives that you could describe with your partner? What are some adjectives? Huh? Boastful. Very good. What else? Selfish. I like that. What else? What would you have to describe that older sister? Sassy. I like that word. bossy. Greedy, very good. Alright, selfish, very good. What else? Alright, touch your nose, touch your eye, touch your ear, listen here. Paige, what adjectives did you and your partner come up with? They're selfish. Very good. What else, Riha? They were bossy. What else? Mary Audrey? They were greedy. How would you describe, what type of adjectives would you say those were? Okay, what type of adjectives would you say those were? Are they good or bad adjectives?
Good.
Bad adjectives. Why? Because they're describing the what kind of character of a person? Bad characters of a person. Alright, now, you are going to, in just a moment, you are going to take by yourself, you are going to glue, you have a booklet, you are going to glue the booklet and you're going to cut out this and this in your booklet, and then you're going to cut out the words and glue them underneath either the older sister or the younger sister. So I need you to turn to a clean page in your notebook. So that is what we're going to do. You're going to describe your older sister, the older sister, and the rough-faced girl. Rihan, will you give everyone one of these? No, you may not go get some water. I can't pick watches. That is the one thing about Taqued, will you hand out this, please? You're going to cut this out and glue it, and then you're going to glue the words underneath.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to cut a strip out. I'll tell you.
This ends part 1 of my video lesson. The next will be their independent work. Mary Audrey, what do you see with your work? What do you see? What word do you think on here describes the older sisters?
Greedy and evil.
Greedy and evil. Why? Why are they evil and greedy?
Because they're really mean to their sister.
They're really mean. Very good.
Do
And what
not
else?
ask their father really nice to give them all the dress.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. What? Just put it on the table, please. Paige. Hi. What words do you see on your page that are, what word do you see that describes the rough-faced girl? Boys and girls, I hope you're talking about the lesson and not about other things. Yes, you're supposed to cut them out. Yes. Yes. Which word do you... Beautiful on the inside. Why is she beautiful on the inside? Why is she beautiful on the inside? Because she's what?
Because her heart is
Because her heart is nice? I like that. Very good.
Okay, they're not worried.
Lanaya? What words do you see that are describing the rough face girl? Huh? She's carrying. Why is she carrying?
Because she's been nice and she's nice and she's thoughtful.
Very good. Very good.
What's this beautiful?
Due to time constraints, the retelling of the story in the booklet will be done on Wednesday in Center Time. Quietly start cleaning up your materials for the booklet.
Well, I'm throw the rest of these away.
You're not throwing anything away. Open yours. This is the finished product of the booklet that they have been doing. They have been working on this for 30 minutes or 35 minutes. This takes a long time to do, so for time constraints, we're cutting it off, and they can finish it at a later date.
So I just do.
You will finish this in Center Time. Now,
Which center will we do this at?
seat work. Seat work. Now, I need your eyes on Miss Koon, and be ready to listen for centers. Touch your nose, touch your eye, touch your ear. Listen here. Now, I know you're not finished with your booklet on the describing the characters with the adjectives. You may finish that in Center Time. Today in Centers, you are going to work on 2 different things. We talked about adjectives. We did adjectives yesterday. Today in Centers, for seat work, for center work, you are going to cut out this. You are going to write adjectives that are numbers, size, shape, color, and opinion. An opinion. You're going to do that at your center at the table. Now, before we begin, let's look at our vocabulary for today. We have 3 words, and they are not cruel. Cruel was yesterday. You have. I need you to get out your vocabulary. And your words are. You can underline them with a different color than yesterday's words. Your words are. On the first page, they are. Hotly. Say that word with me. Hotly. It means that you are proud. Say it with me. Proud. Snobbish. Or arrogant. It means that you are proud. Snobbish. Or arrogant. You're going to write a sentence with that. I want you to talk about who you think what reminds you of that word. Then stammer. Stammer. If someone stammers, that means that they stutter. If you stammer, you go, word. We have stammer is like stutter. You speak with pauses. Then a quiver. A quiver. A quiver is not like you quiver. It is a case for holding or carrying arrows. At your seat, you are going to write and draw 3 pictures using quiver, stammer, and hotly in a sentence. Those are your vocabulary words. You're going to write 3 sentences. 3 sentences.
Hotly and quiver.
With hotly, quiver, and stammer. Now, Dallas, why are you talking as I'm talking?
Me,
Now.
I don't have one on that sheet because somebody stole mine. I have one.
I'm so sorry. Yesterday,
I looked
there
at my
were,
boots.
touch your nose, touch your ear, and listen here. When you don't have something, it's because yesterday some of you left them on the floor. And if you do not have them, that is not my fault. It is your fault for you not keeping up with what you're doing. You were supposed to put them on your desk when you were finished at the center yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone had one. And I'm sorry, I do not have extras. You will have to borrow or look on someone else's or look on the board. Now, sections group 1. Group 1 and 5. Go back to your seat, please. I'm not through with direction. If you are, put it in that red table. If you are in group 1, you will go back to the center at my table. If you are in groups 3 and 4, you will go ahead and go to the library right now. Instead of going, if you are at group 1, you will go to the library right now. If you are in center work right now, which is group 5, you will go back to the table because it is changed today. Seat work is at if you're at group 1, you're doing seat work right now. Group 1 and group 3 is doing seat work. Group 2 is on the computer. And group 2 is in the library, excuse me. Group 1 is in the computer, group 2 is in the library, group 3 is at seat work, group 1 is at seat work, and group 5 is at center work. So go where you are supposed to go.
You always like to go. She said,
Yay.
Taquez, you stay at your seats today and do your vocabulary. If you were at library, if you go to library first, you need to go. That would be Lanaya, Paige, Dallas, and Donna Angela.
What about you?
You usually, so you need to write your sentences on your thing. Just leave that over there.
I'm trying to get
I'm now going to show you the centers that my children do daily. This is the compass and Odyssey. This is what they do based on their map and star scores. They get on this for 15 minutes every day in the center. And they also meet with me once a week.
Why y'all use pencil?
In the library this week, we're reading different books. Donna Angela, what book are you reading today? The Very First Americans, and she is reading a book about the very first Americans. And that is a non-fiction book. Lanaya is reading a book that is on Turkey Trouble. It is a fiction book. We are working on a reading fair for this week. If you see the sticky notes on my thing, you also see where kids are writing their names so they can take a test, an AR test. She is on Odyssey. She is on Odyssey like she's supposed to. You pay attention to what you're doing. This is my adjective center. At my adjective center, they use their reading notebooks to where they write and do what they are supposed to. Taquez, get your vocabulary out and work on it. I gave it to you yesterday. Yes.
For library today, I'm going to be doing Runaway Mummy.
Okay. And they are working on their adjective booklets. They have flat books that they do daily. This is basically, they know how to cut out the flat books and write underneath each flat.
Keep it up for Put this, that one.
Obnoxious. What does it mean? It means to be kind of silly. Uh-huh.
The youngest.
He, in center work, at seat work, they finish what we do not finish in class work. And also, these are sentences that they are doing. They use their words in a sentence every day.